The Walther PPK stands for Pistol Polizzi Criminale. And I think it was originally designed for the 1930s German secret police. Bad mustache man's secret service, basically. It was designed as a very concealable pistol for police and people in the private sector, so like citizens or like security guards. Later in its life, later in its production lifetime, it's a pretty sweet little shooter, nice smooth action, really light trigger. It's single action, so you can pull the hammer back and have a lighter trigger pull. And it's also double action, which adds a considerable amount of weight onto the trigger pull there, but it actuates the hammer for you if you need a quick shooting and quick access to some firepower. This thing's pretty sweet. The history behind it is allegedly Hitler used one of these to kill himself in the Führer's bunker in Berlin. I think the pistol itself was largely popularized by James Bond's Nons.
James Bond, are you okay? James Nond is having a stroke. Call the Bondulance. I love that.
007 in the Dr. No movie, I think, is when he got his changed to the Walther PPK. Carl Walther definitely knew what he was doing, you know, manufacturing and designing firearms for Angry Mustache Man. And after the big war, he fled to West Germany, away from the Soviets, and wasn't allowed to manufacture firearms in Germany for a couple years after the war, you know, for a good reason. And he then licensed the production of this design to a French manufacturer. I'm not sure what the name is. I could probably look it up and put it on screen right there. But then I think in 1968, they were going to start importing these to the United States, but the Gun Control Act of 1968 came through and prevented this from being manufactured just because it weighed not enough. It was too light to be imported from overseas. So that's when Walther and Waffenfabrik, the other manufacturer of the Walther PPK, allowed licensing to Smith & Wesson, I think. And that's how we get these. I think that's enough yapping. I think we need an ADHD break. One more thing before we do the ADHD break. I did lose my ID. I have one coming in the mail. So I couldn't buy any White Claws for a White Claw penetration test, but I do have some Boomer water that we could shoot instead. I think that'll give us a good pen test. Ooh, I forgot to put my ears on. Damn. The design of this is pretty sweet. Apparently in its early production, it ran into issues where people were getting bit by the slide back here, and they were improperly holding the firearm, or their hands were too large, so the slide would come back and catch their webbing on their hands. And then in the later models, like this one here, they decided to extend this beaver tail, extend this tang, just to prevent from people improperly holding the firearm and prevent it from biting you. I'm sure if you really wanted to try, you could go out of your way to get bitten by this, but, you know, I wouldn't recommend it. The recoil spring in here is pretty heavy. It takes some oomph to reciprocate the slide. Another design on here is that the magazine ejector right there is like very high up on the grip's profile. Most modern handguns, most modern automatic firearms have the magazine release down here, so you don't have to break your grip to eject the magazine. But with this one, I have to entirely break my grip to get the magazine ejector, or I can keep my grip and use my offhand to eject it. But you know, it's a handgun, it's meant to be operated with one hand. So that is a downside, in my opinion, about this firearm. Something else that's pretty cool is that on the hammer here, they do have a charged indicator. But right there, you can see that itty bitty little indicator right there. And they do include grooves on the back of the hammer, so when you are aiming down sights, you can still see that indicator is protruding. The sights on these are unremarkable. They're functional. You know, they'll definitely work. You can definitely put the sights on something while you're shooting. Pretty sweet. Nice little shooter. Another complaint I have is that this thing is goddamn tiny. The original PP, which was the first one of these designed, was larger. I believe it had a 1/2 inch longer barrel, as well as another 1/4 inch extension on the palm there. And I don't have giant hands either, so that just goes to show how small this thing is that my pinky is entirely hanging off there. I want to do more shooting, so we're going to do that. Stovepipe. Dude. Another stovepipe. What the fuck? Ah, yes, how powerful the 380 is. Powerful enough to where I didn't even know I hit this can until I looked at it. Very cool. No survivors. I'm actually gonna drink that. There's also a little conflict that this was a part of, you know, in between now and World War II. It's called, like, I think I was reading, it's called like the Troubles or something. Alone at the end. But anyway, it sounds like it wasn't that big of a conflict, so you know, we'll stick to the big hitters of topics today. I had a shitload of feeding issues with this thing. I don't know if it's because it hasn't been clean in a minute or the ammo that I'm using is too cheap, but failure to extract, failure to feed. I'm getting stovepipes, I'm getting half-cocks. Not a great first impression, if you ask me, but I mean, the gun looks slick, not gonna lie. I got like a quarter box of bullets left that I'm gonna blast through. I got scolded in my last video for not wearing eye protection, so I got my eyes and ears on. Shout out to you, David. Failure to feed. Failure to extract. Failure to feed. Stovepipe. Stovepipe. That one worked. That one worked. Failure to extract. Wolf. Post-production Garrett here. I have Monkey. If you made it to the end of the video, like and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot, and it's literally free. Also, if you don't like and subscribe, Monkey gets it. So